to do is at least show you this one tool that's sitting on your table right now, and it's the basically who, what, and when. This is a great, simple tool that you can take back to your business and assign things to anybody in your store or company to get a result that you want to see happen. This is one that you can use time and time again, but it really gets things accomplished in your business because it keeps a pulse on it and keeps people responsible for that. So for the rest of this, I'm going to need to put on some of my glasses. Okay, so we've got a new year and a new you. Can everybody hear me back there? Okay? Okay, good. Thank you. And Jennifer was kind enough to put some takeaways on the Chamber Lunch and Learn newsletter that went out. And she was not short on subjects, so she gave me 8 of them. Okay? So the first 2 actually go together: amend life habits and reach business goals. Those 2 things, they do go hand in hand. The next 5 also go hand in hand. That's attain customer perception, gain employee retention, build confidence in your craft, learn the motivation skills to access sales, and believe in one's ability to enhance business. The last one is how to become the best version of you by your decision. So the best way I found over the years is to have an open mind, be like a parachute, right? Parachute only opens when it's open, or only works when it's open. The same thing for our mind. So another saying we always say is, you don't have to be sick to get better. Even if your business is thriving this year and doing really well, we're always looking for small tweaks and adjustments that we can use to shift or pivot our way to increase that area or show possibilities how we can create new ways that aren't there right now. So I'm going to jump into some of that stuff right now. And I'm going to use part of a whiteboard. So we know there's really 4 different ways of our learning, and that's, we've got the UI, the CI, the CC, and the UC. So when you think about when you first learned to drive, you were an unconscious incompetent. Yet you didn't know how bad you really were until you got behind the wheel, tried shifting gears, using the clutch. It's too much. Then you realized you became conscious of how incompetent you were, and then you became conscious that you're becoming competent, you got a little bit better, and now we can drive, text, eat a hamburger, drink a soda, and listen to music all at the same time. Or drive for a half hour and not even remember how we got home. So the key here is, how do we move ourselves and our business and our employees to go from this stage to this stage? Because the faster we do the training in this area, the more you don't have to work in your business and you can work on your business. So there's 3 key ways to work in your business. That's work in your business and put lots of hours in, which lots of us do. The other way is working by the seat of your pants and using your hunch and your intuition to put programs or things in place. But the last one is the most important, and that's working on your business, setting dedicated time aside to where you can reinvent and focus on an area of your business that's important to you. But as life goes by, it can be tough sometimes because we get busy. We get busy with life. We get busy with things that come up. We work in the business, and the next thing you know, it's time to go home, do dinner, get ready, and it all happens again and again. And then sometimes you look up and it's Christmas again. So what we want to do right now is, since 2022 offers you lots of new things, we've all made New Year's resolutions. So that could mean we want to focus on health, weight, financial, time, relationships. Maybe we want to put our business plan together. There's one way we can do it. We can look from where we are and head out, or we're going to look from where we want to go. So say we're right here, but this is really where we want to end up. It's pretty difficult to trust in the process here, but like Steve Jobs said, if you ever listen to that commencement speech of his, you really go from this area and work your way backwards. And that's what happens a lot of times in the business, is figure out really where you want to go. That is the key, that's the most fundamental thing to do, but a lot of times it's easy to not do it. So the little changes can make major results in the business, and this is one of them right here, as simple as it sounds. Find out where you are, find out where you want to go, and then backtrack your way on filling it with activities. So if we're all in here in business, we're all used to selling more widgets, selling more products, selling our services, and selling is the key for sure. However, selling isn't the focal point. The focal point for most businesses to increase their business is focus on the activities. And it's an easy thing to get away from. So we've all heard of the saying KISS, K-I-S-S, keep it simple, salesperson. The simple things actually do work. It doesn't mean that they're easy, but they're simple. And if we put processes in place, those are the things that we can get from A to B in a hurry. So let's go through a couple of things here. Amending life habits. Life habits are one thing that this is how we really form a habit. We become competent, really unconsciously competent after a while in many things that we do. And then we have to look back sometimes and see how well they're serving us, if they're really getting us the return on investment that we're looking for. So let's go into service and value. Service and value is the way to increase pretty much everything. So with service and value is an easy way to retain your customers or create new clients for your business. And there's nothing new under the sun that we're speaking to here. We're just going to condense it and put it in one thing so you can walk away and actually implement a couple of things if you're not currently doing it, or remind you of some things that you've been doing in the past that could help you grow your business. Okay, so service and value, it's a common, everybody knows that. But when our focus is really here, this really takes care of the sales. And it takes care of the repeat referral business, and it takes care of rating reviews, and it takes care of people referring you over and over and over by providing great service and great value. Well, the second part of that is training. And we just touched on that before, on the 4 components of the personality and the habit training. But setting the bar for your company, for your clients, and for the employees is really the key. When you expect a lot and they want to be led, most times you can count on them hitting the bar. Now, most employees, the most you'll ever get is 85% of what you do. 85% of the effort that you put into your business is about the level that you get to take from them. You already set the bar for yourself. So even coming to this luncheon today, I'm glad you're here, but I know you've got work to do. You've got other things you could be doing. But you're here to invest some time into yourself to possibly pick up 1 or 2 things and get some pizza, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. So in doing the takeaways, attain customer perception, the service and value is key for that. Gain employee retention. Well, I heard that there's businesses that are having a tough time holding on to employees or even finding employees in this market. And that's happening pretty much everywhere. So how does a company maintain, not only retain or recruit, train and motivate and retain their employees so they're there for more than just a paycheck? You want the employees to be there just like you want to be there for your business. And that is probably the biggest key. So you know that the average person, what they prefer, they don't want to get paid. But what's more important than the money is the recognition. And sometimes people just need a few minutes of your time. And I'm sure you all do that already. But it's just a good reminder that the people that you have working for you are on your mission to achieve what you're trying to achieve for your business. And the best way to do that is to make sure that we retain them and keep them motivated. And there's definitely ways you can motivate employees. You can reward them with bonuses and things, and they actually don't cost you any money because as they do more and generate more revenue, that increase takes care of the bonus plus some. So there's definitely key ways to do that. So study and understanding and education, that's definitely an important part of running your business and staying on top of things. But how to build confidence in your craft. So when we are looking to open a business, we get an idea, we think about it, we start researching it, we pull some money together, and we start the process. And it's a pretty exciting time. So during that time, we're doing all these things that we can to promote our business. And then sometimes after a while, we can start to settle a little bit because we might be coasting pretty good. So the first question I asked you, if you'd like to increase your business by 50%, then there's got to be a model for that. There's got to be a model and a way for you to go from here to here without taking all the incremental steps. And how do you do that? Well, all of these things tie together. We're going to bring them together at the end to show you how. So the next one is learn motivation skills to access sales. So that one always, I love that one because you guys know Zig Ziglar? Anybody remember Zig Ziglar? So they say motivate, what he says is people say motivation doesn't last. He said neither does bathing. That's why we recommend you do it every day. So it's good to keep yourself motivated on top of your business for your employees and the training. I always go back to training because the training, even if they've heard it before from you, it keeps it in the forefront. And that way you know that your employees are being taken care of, your clients and customers are being taken care of in the manner that you want from the proper training. So the training and a lot of these things are easy to do and they're also easy not to do. Right? So we make a plan of really what we want to see accomplished, set our end games where we want to be, put in all these little processes in place, and pretty soon at the end of the year we're going to be right where we want to be. Either really close to it or just ahead of it. And it's a proven process, and part of that is for the 5 P's in your business. So in your 5 P's, we've got people, right? Does a lot of people have, do you guys have people in your business? Other than just yourself, right? Okay. All right, so people, and then we've got product, and then we've got price, and then we have policy, and then we have procedure. So here's a good takeaway also on this one. This is a simple one to use. 1, your 5 P's. You grade your people from 0 to 10. Each of these area, 0 to 10, that looks like a 6. 0 to 10, and 0 to 10. So if this is a 7 for where you'd like them to be, right? Then we just ask the question, what's it take to get them to a 10? And then we find those processes and we start putting them in place. It's a great way to assess your business and where you are with the most simple summary of a business. Hey, how are my people? What are my products like? What's my pricing like? My policy? And do I have my procedures in writing? So super easy to hire somebody and tell them what our policies and procedures are. But if we have any turnover or we're expanding our business, we might forget that after business goes on, you might not just have 1, 2, or 3 policies. You might have 10 or 12 or 15. So having that in a book form is a great way to help expand your business. If you're looking for growth, if you're looking to stay where you are, you can still do that with a system, but this is definitely a growth builder right here. The handout we passed on the table, along with this, those 2 things can definitely keep people accountable and responsible and get you the measurement that you're looking for in your business. Okay, how about believe in one's ability to enhance business? Well, that's definitely mindset. And mindset's one that at our company, in fact, let me just back up a little bit. So we started this company, Decide Your Results, for one reason. To help people start getting what they want, what they really want. And once you learn the secret to how that really pans out and works out for you, you already know the answer, but when you really see it and start applying it, it starts becoming easier and easier. Then you can apply it to everything in your life. So the mindset and the company deciding results is all just, that's really what it's about. And we went with that because decide, when you break that word apart, decide, it's from and cut off or kill. So you cut off your past decisions and you move forward with your new decisions and you're committed to it. You're just drawing a line in the sand, right? You can see a clear line of demarcation where you were and where you are now or where you want to go. Is everybody with me so far? You guys good? Okay. And let me just introduce briefly. So anyways, I have 4 kids from almost 19 to almost 39. I have 3 grandkids. One of my daughters is here, Kirsten. She's the overachiever. She's got all my grandchildren. Okay. And then I have 1 fiance. That's Michelle right here. So we're happy to be in Eagle, newcomers, but we're very happy to be here. And just so we all know that my family's been in Idaho for a long time, so I'm not just a guy that transplanted from California to here. Yeah, my grandparents were here, my dad was here, my brother's still here, and I have cousins here, so anyways. And I gotta get those California plates off my car, you know that, so don't worry about that. Okay, how about the 10 two-letter words? So we're talking about motivation. Anybody see any value in this, applying some of this in their business? They're easy things, but remember, simple doesn't mean they don't work. This is a great pin, but if you get too many whiffs of this, I don't know if I'd be able to finish the presentation. Okay, 10 two-letter words. If it is to be, it is up to me. I don't know who first said that, but I love them, and I've used them for years. Because really, being accountable and responsible for ourselves and our business is the only way to really move forward. If you've ever read Jack Canfield's book, The Success Principles, 33 Principles on how to get from where you are to where you want to go, the first one he says is being 100% responsible for you and your life, no matter what's happened. Because things just are, right? So we attach what we want to them. So the minor adjustment we were talking about previously, another one for Zig Ziglar too. So check up from the neck up, and then see you at the top. Right? Those 3 things, check up from the neck up, see you at the top, and if it is to be, it is up to me. Those 3 little statements can drive you or help you sometimes in a time when you're tired or you got to get something done. I've always liked them, and they've worked for me, and I know they've worked for others. And then we say some struggle, some settle, some strive, and some thrive. So what's the difference? If you can have 2 businesses side by side, and one's doing okay and one's doing really well, there's a way to create your own economy, right? So we can ride the wave when the conditions of the economy is good. But what about when the conditions don't go well for us? And then our business might slide. So instead of just focusing on what the economy does, or us floating with the economy as it goes up and down, we create our own economy by putting in those activities, we put in those processes, we put in the training, we put in the grading, those types of things, and the motivation and the recognition to hold our employees and hold our business to a certain standard and a certain level. You then created your own economy. And it really doesn't take very long to do. You've probably all done it in your own way. In some form or fashion, you've done it. That's why you're still in business. So today is all about, okay, so what would I do to go from here to here and to make a quantum leap in my business? So when we talk about mindset too, mindset's really about doing things the effortless way. And that's why I say take the elevator instead of the stairs. Not to not be in shape, but it's to, if there's an easier way to do it, let's find it, right? Because that gives us more time and freedom to do the other things. So this was all about if somebody's not having enough time, or not enough resources, or not enough proper communication, or not enough relationships, and they like to see those flip around so that they can have more time, more freedom, better relationships, better communication. That's the key. And a lot of times it's by simple things. So Like one word can make the difference. I'll give you an example when we answer the phone. If you don't have an IVR, an interactive voice recognition or response system, but you've got somebody who actually answers the phone, which is pretty popular here in Idaho, which is awesome, we might say, hello, can I help you? Or, may I help you? There's actually one way that you could say that, that's direct, it's to the point, and it shows that you're there and you mean business, okay? And so instead of may I help you or can I help you, it's all you say is I can help. Thanks for calling XYZ. My name's Rick. I can help. If they're calling the help desk, they don't want to know, right? They don't want to be questioned. They say, hey, I can help. Let's get to the point. Let's get to the thing that matters for you. Incremental things, little pivots. Here's our quiet group. So we've got things also, I say, to create your own acronyms for your business. So we have one in another business, it's called SPACED, and it's safety, performance, appearance, comfort, economy, dependability. We had another one called DROP, it's deserve, earn, reward, open, feel. And then you place your sentences in those. It helps in your way of training, so if anybody ever had any questions on that, that's one way to do it. So, since to sell to a new customer, you've got a 5 to 20% chance of selling to a new customer, but you have a 60 to 70% chance of selling to an existing customer. So that's really the key, obviously, is to sell to our repeat customer, to our repeat client base. Also, for any negative review, it takes 12 positive reviews to make up for that one. Not that anybody wants one, but if they do pop up, then there's a way to rectify it, one by managing the response to it so that they can possibly change their review for you. And then it shows when people are looking up, they show there's been a response from the person of the business, and people like that. People like that there's attentiveness, people pay attention. Okay, thank you. Okay. So on average, a loyal customer is worth 10 times as their first purchase. That's on average. So when we also talk about the law of averages, if you're going to say that in your particular line of business, the average revenue per client is X, that's a good way to start, right? Per customer, per client. Well, on a law of average, another question we could ask is, what are the top 10% averaging on their dollars per client? Then we want to find out what the top 10% are doing, or maybe you're already in the top 10%, people are looking at you and your numbers, but that's the number really to strive for. And once we get there, then we would go back up from there. So in the law of averages, it's pretty hard to sustain the growth of the economy that I was talking about if it's not going in the direction where it was. We're floating high on a big wave, which is great. We've got to ride the wave while it's there. But it's also great to ride your own wave. And I want to go back to that creating your own economy. It's really based on some simple things. It's not magic marketing, because there's once in a while those things will work. And I've tried many, and probably out of every 10, maybe 1 to 2 actually kind of hit the mark. But you're really missing out on the 8 or 9 that you don't hit it on. So the key there, again, is focusing on our service, our value, our repeat clients, and how small things make a difference. So putting the processes in place are a big deal. And back to you guys. So let's go over to the Amend Life Habits. If anybody wanted to change a habit, which we actually have a whole course on doing, and there's actually three lessons on it just to get through it, because our programming has conditioned us to be in a place where we are by the things that we do, right? So we create our thoughts, we have our feelings, creates a vibration. The vibration we've attached to the feeling of the name creates an action for us, and then we get a result. So if we want a different result, we go back to the source of cause and effect. We create a different thought, creates a different feeling, different vibration, different action to a different result. That's, in itself, it sounds easy. And I don't really know how many thoughts we have a day. It's anywhere from 6,000, people say, and I've heard to 90,000. I think the 6,000 might be somewhat new thoughts, but most of our thoughts every day, at least 90%, are the same ones we had yesterday. And if we're using 5% of our conscious mind versus 95% of our subconscious mind, this is what can make it a little bit difficult, because the subconscious mind is what runs all of our habits. It's really what's called a paradigm. It's a mental program, and it has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior. The issue is most of our behaviors, almost all of them, are habitual. So we have to figure out a way to change the habit here to get the outcome that we want. So if somebody's joined the gym before, the first of the year or prior to or just after, and then by March they kind of stop going, it's pretty typical because it happens every year. But doing it by willpower is pretty hard to do. So even changing your business by something that you want to implement or put a process in place can be difficult unless there's a pathway to follow. Right? So we want to show you that pathway going from A to Z or wherever it is you want to go. You don't hear that very often around here. Hear it all the time in the Bay Area. All right, so when we talk about manifesting, there's a guy named Andrew Carnegie. You guys remember hearing about him? Okay, so Andrew Carnegie was one of the wealthiest men around, owned U.S. Steel. But he says that any idea held in the mind that is emphasized, that is either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself in the most available form to it. So really what that means is, here's one of the wealthiest men in the world says you hold a thought in your mind, whether it's feared or revered. So if you're thinking one way, whether it's not positive or it is positive, that's really where you're going to gain. So a lot of times in our company, we're talking about how we plant our seeds in our mind and we get them to grow. Well, if we ever give up on ourselves on doing that, that's a lot of times because we tried to do it by willpower.